Hello and welcome to another video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scout. It's team news time. In fact, it's the final team news time of the season, whereas we look ahead to Gameweek 38, which takes place this Sunday. My name is Joe, and as ever, I'm joined by Fantasy Football Scouts editor Neale to assess the latest team news and developments. Neale, welcome. How are you?
Good, thank you, Joe. Yeah, final time this season. I'm not sure we're doing the Club World Cup fantasy team news videos, but yeah, certainly for FPL, this is our final video of the summer.
No, well, I look forward to you're gonna know everything about the defence and their
Yeah,
frailties at
I'll,
Auckland FC. And
yeah, oh yeah, I'm all over them. Big
right,
fan.
Gio. Before we move on, just a reminder, do press that like button. It does help us out. And do remember to subscribe. Keep updated with our latest videos and podcasts, especially during summer ahead of the next season. Also, I've got an offer to tell you about Fantasy Football Scout. The members area, it's opened up. Ahead of Game Week 38, you get a free premium pass. So you can delve in, have a look at all the stats tables, comparison tool. The season ticker is pretty obvious, just 1 week. But there's loads of tools and gadgets there to assess the best players as you make your final decisions for this season. So yes, do have a look at that. To check that out. Okay, let's start with Bournemouth against Leicester. So they're all the matches taking place at the same time. So everything's sort of alphabetical at the moment. So there's no reason to start with Bournemouth Leicester. We just are. Bournemouth, what's the latest there?
We might see a mask sporting Alex Scott on the pitch this weekend. I thought like his season was over because of a fractured jaw sustained a couple of weeks ago, but he's had a mask fitted. He's trained. I think there's a bit of discomfort there, but Iraola said that all being well, he should be involved this weekend. They're going to make a late call on James Hill as well, who's a backup defender. He had a knee issue in midweek. I think that still means 4 out with injury. Dango, Usara, Lewis Sinistera, Ryan Christie, and Enusinel. And they also have one new suspension. That is Lewis Cook, who was sent off against Man City. And that probably actually hastens Scott's return because they are short of options in midfield.
Okay, and as for Leicester, we know that Jamie Vardy's absent. That's his decision. He wanted to go out at home, 500th game, 200th goal, pretty good way to see off his amazing Leicester career. What is the other news from Leicester?
Very little news actually, Joe. Nothing new in terms of injuries. And yeah, as you said there, Vardy won't be involved. They have got 4 players who are already on the injury list and they remain there. And that's Hermanson, Deco Duva-Reid, Fatawu, and Mavididi.
Rightio. Okay, let's move on to Fulham against Man City. Go for the home side first. What's the latest with Fulham?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything new on the injury front from Silva, although I haven't seen his press comments all the way through. We're relying on reporters feeding back the information to us. I will watch that later. As far as I'm aware, nothing new, but there are 4 pre-existing injuries, and that's Harrison Reed, Castagna, Rodrigo Minute, and Reece Nelson.
Okay, and as for Man City, what's the latest there?
Yeah, I have seen Pep's presser all the way through. Not a great deal. Not that we were expecting much. John Stones is the only player on the injury list. However, they do have Kovacic suspended because he was red carded in that Bournemouth game as well. Rodri, Aki, and Bob, they were all back in the squad on Tuesday. Rodri's not ready to start, according to Pep. So he won't be filling in for Kovacic. No indication given on whether De Bruyne will start. Obviously, this is his last match. There was quite a bit on Foden, though, because he's obviously said this week that he's been struggling lately and needs some time to rest.
Who's that? De Bruyne?
No, Foden. Phil Foden.
Oh, Foden, yeah.
Yeah. He's. I think he's requested to be out of the England squad, hasn't he? And Pep says the aim now is to get him right for next season, mentally as well as physically.
Okay, right. So, do you think De Bruyne is going to start this one? It sounds like he might be needed, but in a deeper role, perhaps.
Yeah, we saw that, didn't we? Against who was it? Was it Crystal Palace? I can't remember who it was now. That he played him and somebody else very, very deep. It might have been him and Kovacic, actually, or him and Bernardo, maybe. They've got other options. They could play Gundogan deeper. He hasn't got the legs either. Gonzalez, I think, came on for Kovacic for De Bruyne in midweek, and he could play there. So there are options. I'll finalise my team lineup later, but I'm slightly more concerned about De Bruyne this week than I was on Tuesday because it was his final home game
Yeah.
in 37, and you were kind of more convinced that he would have a send off then. So a little bit more jeopardy
Yeah.
this week, I think.
Yeah, and he's played 5. He started 5 in the last 5. So for player his age, I'm not sure. I mean, I've got him my side. Personally, I'm just going to probably remove him for another player, and just what will be with that one. Before we move on to Ipswich against West Ham, welcome to all those joining us early in the live chat as well. Average FPL guy, Keith, James, FPL Marshall, HK, Rodrev, Historia Films, James, Arjun, Neale, Henry, and many more. Thanks so much for you joining us there from amazing places around the world. I've seen Arjun's from Nepal, for example. Let's have a look at Ipswich against West Ham. What's the latest from Ipswich?
Mixed bag really from McKenna today. They've got Sammy Schmodik's back in training. He's been out for a little while. He's getting closer, and they're going to make a late decision on him. Calvin Phillips is still out. We thought that would be the case, along with Muric, Burns, Ogbenny, and Philogene. I don't think there's anything new on Townsend, but he was getting closer last week. And I don't think there's anything new on Cameron Burgess either. He missed out with a little niggle in his hamstring in 37. McKenna also added that there was sickness in the camp and that a few of his squad were affected. So hopefully good news if you've got a Bournemouth asset or two.
Okay, and what's the latest for West Ham?
West Ham, I should have said, not Bournemouth.
Yeah, well, good news for Bournemouth in general.
Yeah, good.
They've got a nice sandy beach.
Exactly, yeah. Everything's lovely down there. West Ham, yeah, good news for West Ham. It's as we were, according to Potter. So I think the only injury absentees are the long-term ones, is Somerville and Antonio.
Okay, rightio. Let's move on to Liverpool against Crystal Palace. So, okay, what's Slot been saying, and who do you think might start this one?
There's quite a bit on Trent, as you'd expect, about whether he's going to be given the chance to have a send-off, whether that be a welcome decision from the Liverpool supporters' perspective. I'm not sure, but he said he hasn't decided yet whether he'll give him, or rather how much game time he'll give Alexander-Arnold. But he was encouraging the fans to sort of be positive and don't spoil the day by booing him senseless.
Yeah.
Gomez, we saw him on the bench actually on Monday night at Brighton. He wasn't ready for any kind of minutes then. It was just a kind of almost like a cheerleading capacity he came along as. But he's hoping that he'll tick all the boxes this week. Those were his words. And get some minutes on Sunday. I think the only red flag for Liverpool is McAllister. And Slot said after that defeat to Brighton that he needs rest at this moment in time to be ready for next season.
Okay, rightio. So you think they would go quite strong with this final home game?
I think so.
And of course, Alexander-Arnold would be in that. But then again, he got booed last time. He is off. And Bradley needs more time to show that he could potentially fulfill that role.
Yeah, I think it will be strong because it is the title lifting game, and Slot's previously said that he doesn't want to lose all 4 of his last fixtures, after the title. And I think they haven't lost all 4, but they haven't won the 3 previous games. So I think he will go strong for this one. And as you say there, I think Bradley will get the nod. I don't know if he'd start Trent because I don't know if they'd run the risk of him getting booed when he gets taken off like midway through the second half. So I think Bradley, instinctively. And I think it'll be strong otherwise.
Yeah, definitely. Crystal Palace, whoever wrote this tweet, has left me guessing. Mark Guess, they've said. I'm presuming they mean Mark Gahey. But there's some news about Mark Guess or Gahey and Adam Wharton for Palace.
Yeah, there's no guesswork, thankfully, with Mark Gahey. He's definitely out of Game Week 38. He suffered an eye injury at Wembley, and not only will he miss this one, but he'll miss the England internationals after that. Adam Wharton's also out. He was concussed in the FA Cup final. And they've also got concerns over Chilwell and Klein, who are both ill. And of course, they've got Chadi, Riyad, and Cheikhticouri out with knee injuries as well. So a few problems at the back there.
Okay, they've been in Ibiza as well, I understand?
Yes. I think Glasner was quoted as saying what happens in Ibiza stays in Ibiza. So,
really?
Yeah.
I suspect either he was making some shapes at a Carl Cox gig, or he was probably just doing the accounts, I imagine. So he looks like that kind of person.
Yeah, I can't. More of a sort of a folk music kind of aficionado maybe
Yeah,
last night. I can imagine them sitting down and watching them.
yeah,
Just
having a
quiet
nice
gig.
nice glass of Rioja.
Yeah.
Okay, Manchester United, Aston Villa. I've got nothing. I've got no teams.
Yes.
Is that the case with you as well?
Yeah, I should have said this at the top of the program. Actually, we think those are going to be both tomorrow. In fact, I'm just checking on my United website
Okay,
now. He is gonna face the media tomorrow, Ruben Amorim. So it's at 1:30 tomorrow. We'll have an article on the site when
okay,
that happens.
right.
What we do know, Delict and Martinez, they were the only absentees in Bilbao in midweek.
Okay, right. Yeah, and Aston Villa as well.
Yeah, now Aston Villa were the last press conference of this afternoon, and I've not yet seen anything on Tielemans. I'm still
Okay.
waiting to see if he's in or out. He was a big doubt for the final day. I know that much.
Yeah.
And media sources had kind of all but ruled him out, and Emery hadn't done that yet. So I'll see if I can get word on him. We do know that Rashford will not be involved, even if he is injury free, which I don't think he is. He is on loan from Man United, so he can't feature. And they do get Jacob Ramsey back from suspension.
Okay, right. Yeah. Let's have a look at Newcastle Everton. I guess this is where the big news. Lots of people like me have got Isak in their side. Yeah. Question marks over him and Trippier going into this. But yeah, what's the latest?
There's quite a lot from Howard on Isak. Firstly, he said he's doing okay,
Oh, good.
and then added that he hasn't trained yet
Oh,
fully with the team, but he has been training individually. So that was kind of a bit of a boost.
okay.
So he's been building up his load this week. He's been running and he feels okay. But Howe did add the caveat that running is one thing and then kicking a ball is another. So he's so far pain free this week, which is another good, hopefully a good sign. And then the next days, in Howe's words, are going to be absolutely crucial. See if he can first get involved in training and
Right.
then feature against Everton. It'll be a last minute decision, I think, with him, as it was against Arsenal. Actually, it was a late
Yeah.
call,
Okay.
and it just depends what he'll feel like when he kicks a ball. So I guess
Okay.
only Isak himself will know that. It's a similar-ish situation with Trippier, but he's been out for a little bit longer. He's been out for 2.5 weeks. We didn't get any indication as to whether Trippier's been doing in individual work, but Howe said again, he hasn't trained yet. He has a chance to build up his load in the next couple of days, and then maybe we'll see him train tomorrow. So again, doubts on him. Matt Target has trained this week, but I'm not sure he'll be quite ready. And Joe Linton and Lewis Hall, they're definitely out.
Okay. So have they got any more training sessions before
Yeah,
Sunday? Yeah.
yeah, they'll
So
have one. They'll have one tomorrow. Yeah,
okay, so I know that Howe, a bit like Arteta, is quite cautious with the photographers. Is there any chance we might get some indication if Isak's involved? Because I would imagine if he's not involved in any form of training, then it's going to be very doubtful. He'll make a start.
yeah. We won't get training ground images. We did actually get some in midweek. Again, they're cherry picked. Trippier and Isak were missing, but Howe has just confirmed that this morning that they hadn't trained with the group, so that wasn't a surprise. There will be some in the nose and some not in the nose who will try and claim that Isak is not starting. Hopefully I think I'd be more inclined to sort of read people like Craig Hope from the Mail.
Okay.
He might get an indication that Isak's travelled or not. I like to watch his videos on a Friday. He does like a vlog
Yeah.
about 3 or 4 hours after the training, after the final press conference.
Yeah.
So I'll listen to him after this is finished. So I'd keep eyes peeled, but we
Okay.
won't get any training images for sure. But reporters might have a better inkling as to what's going on.
Right. Yeah. Okay. What about Everton? What's the latest there?
Yeah, a bit of a boost for Newcastle is because Everton will be without two defenders. I guess only one of them would have been definitely starting, and that's Jared Branthwaite. So he's going to miss out with a hamstring injury. Coleman is the second new absentee. He suffered a thigh strain, and his farewell got us an appearance. They've got three pre-existing ones, of course: Tarkowski, Mangala, and Lindstrom. So that is both Everton's first choice centre halves out: Tarkowski and Branthwaite.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Let's move on to Nottingham Forest, Chelsea. Bit of a crunch game, this one.
Yeah.
With a Champions League place up for grabs. Let's go with the home side first. What's the latest from Forest?
We know that Taiwo Awoniyi's absent, of course. He's doing a lot better after his abdominal surgery, but still a long way away. Murillo is the new concern. I say new because it's been a bit of a roller coaster week for his owners. Firstly, he looked like he was almost certainly coming off against West Ham last weekend. He twisted his ankle in the first half, and it looked absolutely nailed on that he was going to go off at half time. He then emerged from the second half and then finished the game. However, just when he thought he was over that, he's not been able to train since. And Nuno said the magic words, still assessing.
Okay.
They're going to see if he can train tomorrow, I guess,
Right, yeah.
ahead of that Chelsea match. So he's yellow flag now. And Nuno hinted at possibly other issues as well, but as you would expect from him, he didn't name names. He said some more when asked about if there was any more team news. He said, but let's leave it there. So,
Okay, and
possibility of other issues.
As for Chelsea as well, always look forward to this pronunciation. How are you doing for this one then?
Mark, do you?
Oh no,
yeah,
yeah, gooey.
Yeah,
I still think he's gooey. He's still gooey to me.
Tom, one of our colleagues, Tom, tells me every week how to pronounce it, and he even spells it out phonetically, and I still misremember how to say it.
Yeah.
I should have it on a post-it note on my wall. But him and Nkunku, they're back. They're both available, and I've trained this week, although we'll only be on the bench at best. Who else have we got? Jadon Sancho's back. He was ineligible to face his parent club last Friday. And nothing really concerning about Reece James. He was spotted training individually this week, but as Maresca's pointed out before, he's got his own programme because he's so injury prone that they have individual sessions sometimes with him. Jackson's still suspended, of course. Fofana and Kellyman, they're still out. And Mudryk is still provisionally banned by the FA.
Okay, right, yeah, let's move on to Southampton. Arsenal. We'll go with the home side first, but I imagine more people will be interested in Arsenal assets, perhaps to bring in or keep or wherever. So, yeah, let's go for Southampton first.
Yeah, this is good dish news for Arsenal because Southampton are actually been quite decent defensively under Rusk. I say decent, it's all relative compared to what they were. But they have got problems at the back. So Howard Bellis, he came off last weekend with an ankle issue and he's now ruled out. Jan Bednarek, he had missed game week 37 with a knee complaint, and now he's still struggling. And I think Rusk was intimating that he wouldn't feature. Walker Peters, he's missed the last two matches with a nasty illness, in Rusk's words. It sounds like he'll miss out again. Rusk was kind of implying that with Bednarek and Walker Peters, who are almost certainly off in the summer, it's not just about fitness, it's looking ahead beyond this season. And Albert Grombeck is sidelined as well with, I think it's an Achilles issue. So a few injury concerns and ruled out players there.
Okay, what about Arsenal then?
Yeah, most of the big team news came earlier in the week. So I think this was Tuesday or Wednesday when Saliba and Timber were ruled out. And they are definitely out 38. Timber with that hamstring... Timber with the ankle issue that's been plaguing him for a while. He's had surgery on that, and that's him done for the season. And Saliba came off with a hamstring injury last weekend, discomfort, and he's going to be out for a few weeks. And of course, a few weeks at this stage of the season means out of 38. Jesus, Gabriel, and Tomiyasu, they were already sidelined, but Arsenal do get back Mikel Merino. He returns from suspension.
Okay, righty-o. Let's have a look. Tottenham against Brighton. I haven't seen any Tottenham news, so any there?
Well, I think as we speak, they'll be on a bus around North London or certainly getting prepared for that. I think Postecoglou's press conference is tomorrow.
Okay, right.
Much like Amarim's, yeah. We're not aware of too much information, too much team news concerns. Richarlison did come off in midweek in Bilbao when he sort of signalled that he had to be removed, but he was then spotted running up and down the pitch at the end of the full-time whistle, celebrating with a trophy, so I'm not sure how injured he actually is. Bergvall, Dragusin, Kulusevski and Maddison are out. I think out for the season, and I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, and as for Brighton, what's the latest there, particularly for their striker who has not returned yet?
No, he was meant to last week, wasn't he? He was technically available in 37, but didn't feature. Brighton said after that game that it was down to personal reasons or personal issues, and it's since transpired that
was a lie.
Yeah, it was a lie.
Let's not mince our words.
Yeah, it is since transpired that he was involved in a training ground spat, reportedly with young Paul Van Hecker.
It was the Battle of the JPs.
Yes,
as it's known on the South Coast now.
I do get confused sometimes when I hear it says JP because I think he's ruling
Yeah.
Pedro. But Joe Pedro, whilst I think forgiven and it's been dealt with, he is not going to feature in Game Week 38. So Herschel has confirmed that this
Yeah.
morning. And that might be it, of course, for his Brighton career because he has been linked with
I think
a move away in
I
the summer.
I think it is because a line has been drawn under it apparently, but he's not available for selection.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think that's the end of his time. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Herschel obviously wouldn't see that this afternoon, but I think given what's gone on and
Yeah.
he'd been linked with a move away regardless of what's happened at the
Yeah.
training ground. So he could be him done. In terms of injuries, Rutez, he's just fallen short. He was hoping to play again, I think, in 38, but he's not quite ready. So that's him, Milner, Kadioglu, and March out. No further word on Lamptey and Steele specifically, but Hertzler said he thinks it'll be the same squad as last week. So by implication, that means not those two.
Okay. And Wolves against Brentford. Wolves could be without one of their strikers.
Yeah, not the one that most people own. Is the other one, and that is Jorgen Strand Larsen. So Vitor Pereira said we have doubts about him. They're going to see how he's feeling tomorrow, but doubtful very much he is. I think that's anything in terms of new concerns. Johnson and Doyle, I think they're still out. And longer term ones, Mosquera, Chibomi, and Gonzalez are too.
Okay. Meanwhile, Brentford against Wolves. I mean, I think this could be some goals in this game. Looking at these two
Yeah.
sides, but yeah. So yeah, who's available for Brentford?
It was 5-3 in the reverse fixture back in game week 7. So yeah, definitely could be some goals here. Good news for Brentford. They've got Aaron Hickey back for I think the first time in 19 months he's been out. So he has featured for the under 21 quite a bit in the last few months. Now he's finally ready to return to the squad. It'll only be as a substitute. De Silva, Yanelt, and Carvalho I think are still out. And Thomas Frank said everyone that was available last weekend is good to go in game week 38. So we
Okay.
think that includes Michael Coyote, who came
Oh,
off
okay.
with hamstring discomfort.
Okay. I'll try and round up most of that. So available, we know Havertz is available. Mark Dew, and Kunku and James, they should be available. Alexander Arnold, rotation could keep him out. Isak groin issues, we won't know really until we perhaps get some leaks over the weekend. Trippier similarly with his calf problems. Strand Larsen could be out for Wolves with injury. Klein and Chilwell are ill for Chelsea. Scott could be returning with a mask because of his jaw injury. Cody, hamstring injury, could keep him out, but he might be back. Rodri won't start, so fitness issues there, so he might still get some minutes. Murillo, ankle injury makes him a doubt. Could start though. Timber's definitely out, as is Saliba for Arsenal. Pedro, he's been Van Hecht. Vardy is moving on, so he's just not available. Wharton, concussion could keep him out. Stones, thigh problem, will keep him out. I've just added him in there just because he's the only one who's definitely out really for injury reasons. Kovacic, of course, suspended. Branthwaite, hamstring's going to keep him out. And Mark Gay, it's just the fitness issues. He can't play according to Glasner. Okay, I think we've got most things there.
I think so, Joe. Yeah.
Okay.
And like I say, I'll have the Spurs Man United team news on the site tomorrow if anyone's interested.
Okay. So, a big message for there, everyone. Do check Fantasy Football Scouts articles, predicted team news. Go have a look at the team news tab. Have a look at that over the weekend. Also, do have a look at Fantasy Football Scouts social media for all latest updates there. Thanks everyone for joining us today. Thanks everyone for joining us all season. We'll be back next season for more team news. Neale, thanks a lot for joining me today and the rest of the season. Enjoy the summer and see you next year.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Just a final farewell from me to everybody because I do appreciate all the views we've had this season and all the kind comments we get in the sidebar and in the comments section afterwards. And I do appreciate everyone spending their Friday afternoons with us listening to the team news. It does really, we do appreciate it. And hopefully we can get you some accurate team news predictions this weekend.
Excellent. Take care. See you soon.